you worked in the maternity unit?
I've been at Prue now on the maternity unit for coming up 6 years.
And what was your role when you were a healthcare assistant?
I started as a healthcare assistant up until about 18 months ago. And my role was basically caring for the woman after delivery, helping to look after the baby, helping with breastfeeding, caring for women who needed assistance after cesareans, answering buzzers, general sort of housekeeping duties really. It was quite repetitive and I was beginning to get a little bit bored.
So originally, what made you want to sort of work for the NHS to begin with?
I think it was my fascination with the whole process of childbirth and my desire to see if I wanted to be a midwife is the reason why I started as a healthcare assistant. I'd previously been a personal assistant up in London, so it's a very different job to what I was used to.
Okay, why did you choose to take the MSW Foundation degree?
As I said previously, I was getting quite bored as a healthcare assistant and I felt the role was quite limiting. I felt, although I wasn't sure if I was brave enough to go forward for midwifery training, I felt that I did have a lot more to give as a carer. So I thought the maternity support worker course would really help to enhance my skills so that I could give much better care to women and also increase my job satisfaction.
And did you have any concerns before you started your university course?
No, I think the concerns started really as we started the course, because I think when we started the course we began to realise what actually was involved in doing the course. Yeah, I think my only concern on starting was perhaps that my academic skills wouldn't be up to scratch and that I hadn't studied at A-level level before.
What do you think the best thing about doing the degree was?
I think there's quite a few really beneficial things. I think as a person I've really grown. I've learned that I can exceed what I thought my own expectations were in terms of studying and bravery really, and putting myself forward for things that I would never have done before. And I think being able to do more at work and really being feeling that I'm part of the team and not just a cleaner, basically.
And so you've mentioned that you were a bit worried that academically you would struggle with the course. Were there any other obstacles along the way?
There were a few. It's difficult to look back and you tend to only remember the good things, don't you, when you're looking back?
Yeah.
But the things that I remember are, as we started the course, the midwives here didn't really know how to support us because they hadn't been told too many details about the course and about the skills that they needed to help us to learn. So that was an issue, trying to educate the midwives and encourage them to help us with our skills passport. I think there was also from certain midwives that fear that more and more support workers were going to come into the service and take over the jobs of midwives. So there was a little bit of, apprehension on their part, I think, as to how much they wanted to get involved in training us.
But obviously, as you've progressed through the degree, you've found that it's helped your team building and your teamwork skills.
Definitely helped. I think it's the same with all changes, isn't it? People regard change with fear and apprehension, but when you actually see the process put into place, the midwives have told us all the time how much they're benefiting from having us as part of the team, because we can alleviate, we can take a lot of the jobs away that they do. For example, baby obs, mum obs, SBRs, phlebotomy, all sorts of things like that that are really time consuming and extra tasks that the midwives have to do that we can take away and do for them. and it frees them up to really concentrate on the women they need to give that extra bit of care to. And I think what I've noticed as well is that their stress levels seem to, although obviously they still have a lot of stress in their job, they're not so task driven, and I'm noticing that they're coming on the shift really pleased that we're on shift with them. They're pleased to see us, and they're going home at the end of the day happier. You know, before as a healthcare assistant I had seen midwives leaving the ward after 12-hour shifts in tears of frustration and stress, and to be honest we don't seem to see that so much now, so I think we've been quite helpful in that respect.
And obviously you're saying that this room here is where you do your breastfeeding support, is it?
Yes, we have our discharge talk here.
Yeah,
we have our discharge talk here in the morning that the health cares do, and then I come in and do a session on breastfeeding, and it can be as long as the women want it to be. It can be half an hour, it can be 2 hours, and the whole idea of having this room is that women are made to feel comfortable enough to breastfeed if their babies wake up during the session. You know, this would be their first public breastfeeding session, as it were, so it makes it quite comfortable for them to be in an environment with other like-minded people as well.
And when you were a healthcare assistant you were a band 2, and what band are you now as an MSW?
Well, I'm probably quite an unusual person really, in the fact that I have a dual role. So for one long day a week I'm a band 3 as a maternity support worker, and for nearly 20 hours a week I'm a band 4 as a breastfeeding advisor. So I'm part of a separate sort of breastfeeding team that is managed by a manager who's not on the ward.
And would you say that doing the foundation degree has helped you to achieve that position?
Yes, I think as a band 2 I wouldn't really have been eligible to go for a band 4 position, so it's been a sort of stepping stone to get here. Yeah.
And finally, what's the best thing for you about being a maternity support worker?
There's many really. I enjoy coming to work now. I don't have that level of boredom that I had before. Every day is completely different because although a lot of the issues that I'm dealing with are very similar, the women I'm dealing with are different. I get a lot more job satisfaction. I have ladies coming to see me from community for breastfeeding support. I'm referring babies with tongue tie up to King's College for frenulotomies. So that sort of really widened the scope of the work I do. And of course as a band 4 I do get paid more, so that's nice as well. But I think another thing that I really enjoy is I feel more of an equal to my midwifery partners now, whereas before I sort of felt quite invisible, and that anybody could be making beds and collecting water jugs and doing those things. I feel more valued as a member of staff now, and my colleagues turn to me for advice and help, and I enjoy that. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.